Trying to grab all the groceries in one trip? Oof, not how you would have done that. You know sometimes less is more. Like when you drive less and save with the USAA annual mileage discount. USAA. Get a quote today.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Featuring Dangerous Dan Margetta and Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. We've got a busy show today. Let me tell you something. The boys, who I cannot introduce to you individually, are at the Trans Am Speed Tour weekend up at Road America. Which one of you has the microphone? Is it Dan?
I got it right now.
Oh, you have it right now. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Because of schedules and how everything is kind of out of whack just a little bit, we're going to talk right from the get-go about last week's race at Chicago. As much as it was a cluster with the rain and all the problems they had, it turned out to be an absolutely spectacular event all the way around. The race itself was better than anyone could have possibly imagined, and I think the biggest takeaway is that there is this driver from New Zealand who nobody ever heard of over here, with the exception of a very select few people, who turns out is one hell of a race car driver. Guy's name is Shane Van Gisbergen. Everybody that knows him calls him SVG. Now you say to yourself, where did he come from? Well, he's one of those popular guys that races on the other side of the world. He races from the right side of the car. It's the first time he ever sat on the left side of a race car in his life. And he was brought to this country by our first guest, a name we've known for many years and have him on the program for the first time. Joining us is Boris Said, who is racing this weekend up at Road America. First of all, Boris, thanks for taking a little time to be on the program with us. It's really great that you came over.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
All right. Now, perhaps you'd like to fill us in a little bit on how Shane Van Gisbergen ended up in the Project 91 car.
So basically, I did a short stint in Australian supercars. I got to do 3 or 4 races over there a long time ago. And I met Shane back then, and super nice guy. And actually, it wasn't the first time. He's run a lot of left-hand drive cars, GT cars, things like that. And he's just a really cool guy. And what happened about 9 months ago when Project 91 introduced, they were going to do this guest car, and they had Kimi Räikkönen going to drive. He called me up. He said, "Hey, you think you can get me in there, mate?" And I go, "Well, Justin Marks is an old friend of mine. You know, he was a young kid at BMW, and we raced together for years, and I've known him for years. And it's amazing that he went from when I first met him back then when we were racing in the late 80s, late 90s. I mean, he was just your typical, dumb kid. We're just out clowning around, being idiots, having fun racing cars. And to see what he's become, I mean, he's going to be the next throne, the next big thing in NASCAR. And I think he has the coolest team in NASCAR. He's done 2 of the coolest things I've ever seen in NASCAR with what happened at Martinsville and now with Shane. But I called him up and I said, "Hey, I got a guy you should put in your car." And he goes, I got people, we're pretty well set. And I go, "I have a guy that can win. He'll win." And, just like everybody else, he was like, "Yeah, I've heard that before. I mean, this is NASCAR, right? I know how hard it is, but this kid is really special." And I go, "I'm telling you, Justin, this guy can win a race." And he goes, "Oh, maybe Chicago. Maybe we'll do Chicago." And this was 9 months ago. So I told him to call him, and I gave him his number, and he didn't call him right away. So I told Shane, "Just call him. He's a great kid. Justin's a great guy." And they talked, and then the deal happened. So it was pretty cool. So I have a very small part in it. But the coolest thing for me is now that you can bet in NASCAR, me and my son, we bet a bunch of money on him winning the pole. We lost that bet. Winning the race, top Chevrolet, and a top 5. So we won like 42 grand. So we had a really big payday.
Nice.
It's the most exciting race I ever watched because of that. But yeah, he's unbelievable. And what people don't know about him, like I always pride myself on versatility. I like driving different cars. And you look at a guy like Kyle Larson, who's probably one of the best in the world. He can get in a sprint car, anything he gets in, he's fast. But this guy, Shane, the most amazing thing he ever did that nobody really knows about, he did a rally in New Zealand, a world rally, and finished third, his first world rally. I mean, the guy is just crazy, crazy good. And I think if somebody gave him a chance on ovals, I think he'd figure it out quicker than most people.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I guess let's get your overall thoughts on street racing with the Cup Series. A lot of people didn't know what it was going to be like, how the racing was going to go. It turned out to be a good race, but overall, you watched the race, right? What are your thoughts?
I think it was one of the best NASCAR events they've had in a long time. And what's really cool about it for me there's another connection where, Julie Giese, who was the president of that, I met her when I started racing at Watkins Glen when she was an intern, 100 years ago. And to put an event on in downtown Chicago, I couldn't imagine how hard that was with all the little things and everybody complaining about everything. And that turned out, other than the weather, a long delay, I thought it was such an exciting race to watch. And I hope they do more of them because what it does is it brings the race to the fans. I mean, right in a big city like that, it's crazy.
Right. One of the bummers of it was, and a lot of the people up here, weren't as excited about it as everyone else is because, this beautiful facility we're sitting at here is where the Cup Series ran last year. Now, I talked to a couple different drivers over the weekend, too, and they think, both races can coexist because we're far enough away. You agree? I mean, there should be a Cup race up here?
I totally agree. I mean, when that Cup race was here, to see the crowds and, like, I did the race here, and, I mean, just driving through the campsites, completely sold out, all the cornhole, all the people, 4th of July weekend, I thought it was a really, really cool event. So, I mean, that definitely was a sad part of it, but it still was really exciting to see a street race.
Now let's go. What's going on with you lately? I know you ran here yesterday in the Trans Am Series. You finished third.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't supposed to be racing. I was here watching my son this weekend, but a team that I've run for before, AJ Hendrickson, he had a little hand thing that was bothering him. So after practice, he said, "Hey, do you want to qualify and race my car?" And I'm like, "Sure." So it was kind of a bonus for me to get to drive. And this track is one of the most fun tracks to drive in the country, and with the new surface, there's a ton of grip. It's just a lot of fun.
Now, we talked to you before the race, and you were like, "Yeah, I don't know how good this car is going to be." You were right there at the end. I mean, you were battling for a while.
Yeah, we were close. I think if it didn't have that break in the middle with the black flag, I think we could have got second because Dyson was really struggling on tires. So getting them to cool down, that gave him a little advantage. But still, in these cars, I mean, we're going, I think our top speed was 184.5 going into turn 1. I mean, that gets your attention, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You really like this place a lot. I mean, I look back to 2010 when the NASCAR Series first came here, and it was new for a lot of people. And that's where I learned about this place, and I'd been here a little bit, but I really started to discover it when they came here, and they had that press conference, and you did the test laps here to bring them here.
I remember that day because when I did the initial testing, on the car to get the gearing and do a video to help the guys get used to it, it was a cold day, and there was still snow around the track. And it was just our one car, and there was probably 3,000 or 4,000 people here watching. A car go around every 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and I'm like, man, these fans are diehard, and it was really, really, really cool to see NASCAR come here.
So where are we going to see Boris Said in the future here? You got any more plans to race this year, or is it your son going forward, or what's going on?
I'm going to all the TA2 races with my son, and I might do a few more TA1 races with Pancho Weaver or maybe ECC. Who knows? If somebody asks, I'm officially retired 4 years ago, but I still love driving. So, maybe if Chase Elliott gets sick, Rick will put me in. but I still love the sport. I love watching, and I still love driving cars.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool. Hey, Boris, first of all, it's always great to have you in the state of Wisconsin. I'm supposed to send my love from an old competitor of yours, Rich Bickle, who is going to be turning into a television broadcaster this week. He's going to be doing color for the Slinger Nationals, but it's really cool when you come all the way from California, where you live these days, to race with us here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's funny. I love coming here. My favorite restaurant in the United States is in Sheboygan. Stefano's Italian restaurant. We've eaten there 4 nights in a row, me and my son. We have the same waitress, Allie. She knows exactly what we want. It's just, I love it. I love coming there.
I know that owner. I work in Sheboygan. I work for the city of Sheboygan, so I'll have to bring up your name.
That's the best Italian restaurant I've ever been to.
It is.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's fantastic. Boris said, thanks for taking a little time and out of your busy schedule here and being on with us. Best of luck to you. And we'd like to call you in the future if that'd be all right. I
gave my cell number, so call anytime.
All right, very cool. Boris said, joining us from Road America, where they're getting ready. It's the Trans Am Speed Tour weekend up at the track. We're going to sneak away and be back. Hang in there.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
It's the social event of the summer as the WeatherTech International Challenge with Brian Redmond returns to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, July 13th through the 16th. It's the largest vintage racing event in America, featuring over 400 vintage and historic race cars. This event will highlight the Kastner Cup, featuring Triumph sports cars, and the popular Concours d'Elegance on Friday and Saturday along the streets of Elkhart Lake. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Camping and family fun at Road America all weekend. Visit roadamerica.com today.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Start your engine!
The Quaker State 400.
Blaney edges down to the bottom. He gets right to the bumper of the leader. Martin Truex Jr. disposes of Tyler Reddick. Zigzags to the bottom spot with Christopher Bell pulling in. Here comes Chase Elliott. The number 9 is going to lead the field once again off 4.
The crowd is going crazy at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott won the Quaker State 400.
The Quaker State 400. Sunday, July 9th at 5 p.m.
on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back to the program. Today they're racing at Atlanta, just a little bit of a different kind of a course from a street course in Chicago. Eric Almirola led a parade of Fords at the top of the field, 177.346. The top 6 qualifiers, single lap runs, were all Fords. Ty Gibbs in 7th was the top Toyota, and Kyle Larson in 8th was the top Chevrolet. It's a late race today. The green flag is at 6:20 today. It's televised on USA Channel, but good news, coverage starts here on the Big 920 at 5 o'clock this afternoon, also on your iHeartRadio app. So be sure to tune in for the Atlanta race this evening right here on the Big 920. We do have a caller who has some sort of question regarding Chicago. Biff the cheese farmer from Racine. Is this somebody's pulling my leg? Hi, Biff.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I was wanting to know, the guy that won the race, would he be able to be in the chase? Or if he won another road course, would he be able to be in the chase without running the whole schedule?
No.
I think you got to be in the top certain points.
30.
You got to be up in the points. And you can't be up in the points after racing 1 or 2 or 3 races. You got to be there.
And I believe at the beginning of the year, you have to designate yourself for what series you're going to run for points for. That's where you see, the Cup guys that run the Xfinity series don't collect points and this and that. And same thing with that car. They didn't delegate that they're going to run all season with that car. So no, he's not eligible.
Now what he could do though is he could, as far as next year. I mean, he's on a radar for rides available and stuff.
Hey.
And he supposedly had another year of these Australian supercars to go on his contract deal, but now we heard this week that they may be letting him out of that. Should the right deal come along, he may be able to get out of that. So we'll see. I mean, the iron's hot right now. Everybody knows him. So, I mean, we'll see what happens if there's anything available.
Does he race ovals ever?
We made USAA Insurance to help you save. Take advantage of discounts when you cover your home and your ride. Discover how we're helping members save at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
It's time to recognize you sausage-loving genius. For without you, how would we know that Eckrich smoked sausage can be eaten thrice in one day? And that you can take your lunch break before noon? Here's to you. Eckrich smoked sausage. You do you.
In the dirt, because he runs a lot of sprint cars and midget stuff, and like Boris said, you put him on a paved oval and he probably would figure it out because he's figured out everything else. I mean, that rally stuff, how difficult that is. I mean, I heard that he did some of that and he's really successful at that too. So this guy just seems like he can do everything.
And before you say, I don't know if he could do that because he'd raced from the other side of where he's used to. I believe anything now when I've seen this guy. What do you think, Biff?
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I'd like to see him run a few of the road courses and maybe a couple of the other ones he might do well at, and then next thing you know, he's in the chase.
Yeah, it'd be something else. Not this year, but I'm real uncanny about this. I don't think that's the last time we will have heard of Shane Van Gisbergen.
He's eligible for the All-Star race, right?
Oh, you have to run the full schedule, I think, Dan.
Oh, I don't know. I think he's going to win a race. I think if they put something together, he might be in there.
Okay, well, we'll find out. That's for darn sure. So thanks for the call. We don't think it'll be this year, but down the line you'll hear his name again, Biff. Thanks for calling. We do appreciate it. And if anybody else would like to be a part of the program, 414-421-7901. Like many people, of course, I was at Slinger last week, couldn't watch it live. I first found out that this guy won when I'm walking on the track getting ready to start the introductions for the feature, and David Prunty says to me, "Did you see who won at Chicago?" I go, "No." He says, some van guy, and I'm going, "Are you kidding me? That guy won the race?" I'm thinking, well, he must have inherited it. Listen to me. That guy drove his ass off to get to the front. But it didn't hurt that he had such an outstanding car. How can you come around with a car that doesn't race very often? I realize it's a product of the team, but to have a car that much better than everybody else, he was running 1 second per lap faster than anybody. With a caution with, what was it, about 10 laps to go? He was running about 10th. And,
yeah. And a lot of it is how he drove that track. He broke, in the braking zones on a street course, it's all about how late you brake. And he was braking so much later than everybody else. I mean, he come through the area by us, and you visually could see him closing the gap on who he was chasing. Right? I think before that caution, he was chasing down, was it Kyle Larson who was running second at the time, or somebody like that, or was it was Kyler Reddick? Because Bell was leading, Reddick was second, he was third at the time, and we could see him close the gap as he's coming through our vantage point. And I mean, he just drove that track so much different than everybody else, just because that's what he's used to doing. They run a lot of street courses over there in the New Zealand, Australia area on that supercar tour, and that's so he knows how to do it. He's done it in the wet, he's done it in the dry, so he had a little bit of an advantage there. Now, granted, the car is completely different, and that was also the other thing. He was able to do that in a different car.
I was pretty impressed that what happened when the race got shortened because of darkness. I mean, that was one thing. They cut the thing 25 laps, and they didn't tell everybody. There were some cars that had pitted beforehand that kind of saw it coming and got a big advantage, and he was not one of those guys. He was on the other strategy that kind of got messed up by that call, but he was able to drive back to the front. I think he was the only one of the bunch that actually went back through there. So it wasn't one on strategy either. He drove to get there.
You get the funny feeling that somebody's going to give him a ride for most road course races if he is available, which, if he's under contract to run in that supercar series overseas. Hey, isn't that the same series that what the hell is the guy's name that raced with us? Marcus Ambrose, yeah. And he went over there and went back to, didn't he?
Yes.
Right. And then did McLaughlin come from there too in IndyCar?
Yep, Scott McLaughlin was doing that also, correct.
And if I remember right, didn't Roger Penske own the car that Marcus Ambrose drove in that series?
Yeah, that could be. I don't quite remember. But, I mean, they're cool-looking cars, but they are completely different. A lot of people said, it's very similar to our next-gen car that we run now. Not really, because, I mean, in his little session on Saturday afternoon, he was talking about, no, there's some similarities, but really not. The cars are a lot different. They're lighter. They just handle different. Everything's different on them. So,
and shout out to Justin Haley, who did just a spectacular job and brought it home second last week. They put on a hell of a show for us, and they're gonna be back. I'm telling you right now, they've got to bring this back for 2 more races. It was a spectacular show. We're glad you tuned in. We're gonna have a couple other special guests on the program, and before you know it, hang in there.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
This Saturday night at the Fair Park in Plymouth will be autograph night with free flags and the Wall of Fame induction ceremony during intermission. On track will be the late models, Wing Sprint Cars, Grand Nationals, B-Mods, and the Vintage Modifieds. Join us as we honor 11 drivers, 5 track workers, and 3 families who have contributed to the success of racing at the Fair Park. Gates open at 4:30, opening ceremony at 6. That's this Saturday night. We'll see you there.
This week on NASCAR Live, Darian Grubb joined the show.
But after lap 1, when we went from 18th to 16th and saw the lap times coming up on the dash, we knew we had potential. And then watching Shane pick off 1 or 2 cars almost every lap. After that, it was more just sitting watching the show. We had already finished our work for the day, and getting to watch him do his was amazing.
There's much more waiting for you each week on NASCAR Live.
Every Tuesday night at 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
We do have another guest scheduled, but he is at the drivers' meeting right now at the Trans Am race. So that'll be we'll keep you in suspense until he just actually walks in the door. And you guys let me know when he shows up, if you don't mind. The ratings last week. First of all, could it have possibly been worse with all the rain and the problems and the lightning and not just all the rain? What did they have? 7 inches?
In some spots of the city, they did, yeah. I mean, I got pictures of squad cars floating. I think there was around 4.5 or 5 park area where we were. Where the stage was set up, that entire thing was underwater. There were tires floating down Pit Road.
And yet, people they came out to see that thing. It had a really nice crowd on hand. And the ratings, I mean to tell you, folks, we all know that overall the ratings for television have been a source of great concern over the last couple of years. It was up 144% from the year ago at Road America. Now, just to be fair, last year at Road America, it was on the USA channel, like today's race is, not available everywhere like it is on NBC, because that's where it was. But it was the best NBC ratings in over 5 years for that race in Chicago last week. You know, I get the feeling everybody just wanted to see how it was going to work out.
I think it's what it was too. People were wondering what they're going to see. Is this going to be a total train wreck? This could be something just you want to watch and see what happens.
And what a bonus to have the last couple of laps as good as it was between Van Gisbergen and Justin Haley, who I can't tell you what a just a spectacular job he did. By the way, he almost won the Xfinity race yesterday. If there hadn't been a late race caution, he would have won that. But John Hunter Nemechek won the Xfinity race in Atlanta yesterday.
Late in that race, I mean, he said he sputtered having maybe fuel pickup issues at the end because he had the opportunity to push his teammate to the win, and he kind of didn't do it. He tried to pass him for second. That's what let Nemechek sneak away to get that victory. There was a lot of talk that, come on, Justin, be a team player here and push the 11 car to victory, and he didn't do it. Now, he claimed he sputtered at the end, and that's why the fuel pickup problems, that's why he couldn't push him at the end. But that was
have gas problems, Dan, I think, right? I mean, as far as the fuel strategy, it screwed a couple of guys up there.
Yeah, and it was close, and they went in overtime, too. That always adds extra laps when you're not thinking about that when you're trying to get to the end.
Yeah, all those X factors in it, but Nemechek wins. The trucks and the ARCA series raced at Mid-Ohio. Corey Heim, who just happens to be the point leader in the ASA series, right, Dano?
No, I think Ty's leading it.
I didn't mean the truck series. I meant the ASA series.
Yeah, the ASA series, Ty Majeski's leading the points for that National Stars Tour, if you're talking about that.
I thought Heim was doing. All right. They did a great job and won in the trucks. Tyler Ankrum won in the ARCA series. But, boy, oh, boy, the real story there wasn't so much that as how adventurous that ARCA series can be. A young man, the same guy that took Justin Mondyke out at the Milwaukee Mile, Sean Hignorani, had some sort of problem with his teammate, Dean Thompson, and late in the race waited on Dean Thompson, he was going to finish up there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was going to finish second because they were battling for second when that happened. He waited a lap for him and just beached both cars.
The sick Hignorani genius takes both cars. There were teammates for Bill Venturini. Takes them into the sand, and I can't imagine how many times a young driver with money, obviously, can do stupid things like this and get away with it and keep his ride. If I was Venturini, I would have said, "Look, listen, you're going to have to find a ride somewhere else. That kind of stupid driving is won't do anything for your career." But that's what we got to watch yesterday in the at Mid-Ohio on the road course for that one.
Hey, we got a special guest that just walked in here and sat down with us. We'd like to welcome Carson Quapple to the show. Morning, Carson. How are you?
How you guys doing? Pretty good.
This is the first time we've had you on. Of course, we had your dad several times because, he's a little more in our age group. But you're the defending champion of the Cars, what is it, Late Model Stock Series, right?
Yeah, the Cars Late Model Stock Tour. I'm trying to go for another one this season.
Outstanding. And so exactly what are you doing at Elkhart Lake?
I got the opportunity to drive a TA2 car for Scott Lagacy. Made my debut at Mid-Ohio a week or two ago, and excited to be able to come back and run here at Road America and hopefully contend for a win, but mainly just try to get some experience in this road course stuff and figure it out.
That's a really good car you're in too. I believe Sam Mayer won in that car a couple weeks ago, and I seen a couple years ago, and in qualified third out of 39 cars here. That's a pretty strong effort right there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just for me, it's all about learning this stuff. This is my second race doing anything road course really, so just trying to get the experience running here. I feel like I learned a bunch from Mid-Ohio, and really excited to take on the 4 mile course we got here. It's a really long track. It's different. It's difficult, and new pavement makes it a little bit different from what everyone's used to. So I guess we'll just see.
Have you ever been here before until this?
No, I've never been here. This is the first time for me.
Yeah, your dad said he'd never been here either, which is kind of surprising. So what do you think of it as a whole?
It's a cool place. A lot of mile an hour. It's really fast. The corners they're not super difficult. They're definitely got some challenge. Some just different stuff, but just all in all, the speed you carry into turn 5 and into turn 1, stuff like that, it makes it where you can't really mess up much, and if you do it, it's big consequences. So it's a fast place for sure.
So what do you think of road course racing? I know you built mostly ovals. You said just kind of new at the road course thing. You like turning left and right?
It's different. I mean, it takes a lot different discipline, different way of thinking about the stuff. Circle track's my kind of bread and butter, so to me, I like it a little bit better. But doing this stuff it challenges you and it makes it more fun. Just going out and kind of just trying to figure it out and not have a whole lot of pressure on you.
Well, what's the rest of the season look like for you guys? Any chance we're going to see you race up here at all? I know Slinger Nationals are Tuesday. We talked to your dad about it, and he said the logistics of getting all your equipment up here just didn't quite fit into the schedule. But any of the other big races up here you think you can make it to?
Honestly, we don't know. We just haven't really thought about a lot of stuff. My Cars Tour schedule kind of makes it pretty tight for us to do anything with our own car now. But we're going to obviously try. I think I'm planning on running some Super late model stuff here or there. Maybe not up here, but I might try to run the Derby and stuff like that. But if there's an open weekend and we're not super busy, we're going to try to make it up for Madison or any racetrack up here really that has a big show. So hopefully we get the time and opportunity to do that. But right now we're just not sure.
Any ASA Stars races?
At Pick and Save, you can find the highest quality products at a great price in every aisle, every day with Kroger brand. So you can stock up on your household favorites that are tried, tested, and loved by you. Because when you get the products you love at great prices, it feels like winning. Shop now, in-store, or online. Pick and Save. Fresh for everyone.
Simply the best. Better than all the rest.
No, not really. Same kind of thing. Just the schedules makes it really tight where it's tough for us to do it. My brother ran the Hickory and the North Wilkesboro race earlier this year and finished pretty well there. And I'm not sure if we have any more plans to do anything more, but if we do, I'm sure we'll post all about it.
Well, thanks for sneaking over after the drivers' meeting. We appreciate you being on with us. First time, imagine that. Everybody remembers their first time. Carson Quapple, good luck today at Road America, and we hope to have you on in the future.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, we're going to sneak away for a break. Be sure to hang in there with us. We'll be right back.
You want speed? Then get your tickets now for the Trans Am Speed Tour, July 7th through the 9th at Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake. This race weekend is presented by Pirelli, and the Trans Am grids are populated by Mustangs, Camaros, and Challenger. On Saturday, there will be a license plate event and a Henry Cars and Coffee Show. Bring the entire family as kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult admission. And make it an affordable weekend by camping. A great way to round out your holiday week. All this at Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This Saturday night at the Fair Park in Plymouth will be autograph night with free flags and the Wall of Fame induction ceremony during intermission. On track will be the late models, wing sprint cars, Grand Nationals, B-Mods, and the vintage modifieds. Join us as we honor 11 drivers, 5 track workers, and 3 families who have contributed to the success of racing at the Fair Park. Gates open at 4:30, opening ceremony at 6. That's this Saturday night. We'll see you there.
The fans are on their feet.
NASCAR heads to the Granite State.
Down on the inside, it's Cole Custer flanked to his outside. Ty Gibbs side by side, and once again, they try to make it 3 wide to 1.
It's the M Better Health 200.
We got cars sideways. Austin Hill up the hill into the wall.
AJ Allmendinger. He'll take the checkered flag ahead of Riley Herb.
The M Better Health 200. Saturday, July 15th at 1:30.
On Milwaukee's Home for NASCAR, the Big 920, and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back. Nice you could join us. This is the week that the SRX series begins. They've gone away from CBS on Saturdays. They'll now be ESPN on Thursdays, like the old Thursday Night Thunder thing. Remember that? So that starts this coming Thursday, the 13th, on ESPN. That'll be fun to watch. Gentlemen, I don't know if you saw this. Cole Custer is back in the Cup Series. He's had a couple wins now in the Xfinity Series, even though I'm not real sure, last week didn't even go halfway and they had to declare it over with because when the hell were they going to run a rain out there that they just ran out of time? It was a logistics thing. He is going to be in the Rick Ware Racing number 51 car, but don't believe for a second that it's a Rick Ware car. This is a similar deal to when Cole Custer drove for Bobby Dotter. Remember that? It was the Bobby Dotter's 07 car. That was a Stewart-Haas car that they put 07 on because Dotter had, what's the word? He's in the program for NASCAR. And so Cole Custer, same thing. It's going to be a Stewart-Haas car. It's going to say number 51 on it. And I would even imagine that it will be guys from Stewart-Haas Racing pitting the car. Would you guys guess that? I would think so.
Kind of what happened the last time, and they did that in years past. They had cars like that at Vegas. I think Custer ran a Stewart-Haas Rick Ware type car. Same thing with the 15 car last week at Chicago with Jensen Button. I think that was a Stewart-Haas effort. Usually when the Stewart-Haas thing is there, it's usually a lot better effort than what you got normally.
They are doing some working together because on the ride-in this morning they were interviewing J.J. Yaley on there, and Yaley was talking about how cool it was to have Cole Custer a part of the Rick Ware program this week and how they are sharing notes and stuff like that. So there's some working going on. He didn't come right out and say that car came right out of Stewart-Haas, but they do work together. So JJ was excited about, the prospects of having a little bit better technology this weekend, so to speak, at their race.
And as a programming note, by the way, if you have not caught this week's Dale Jr. download, Matt Kenseth was on. He was very relaxed. You think you've heard everything out of Matt that you know, that you're ever going to find out, and yet every time he's on one of these and they dig in a little bit, you find out more. It was pretty good. If you haven't got a chance yet, you're going to want to check out this week's Dale Jr. download. It's going to be very enlightening for you. Hey, by now you noticed that Marco Andretti raced in the Truck Series yesterday. Of course, Marco Andretti, winner at Slinger Speedway last year, 2 years ago when SRX had their initial season. You can't get around Slinger and not, if you're going to win, you're going to have to do a job to do it. And he looked like he had the gift, I'll tell you. He's got, certainly has the genes, but he knows how to drive. And he was in a Spire truck yesterday, the number 7 truck. The question that this all leads to is we've already heard the Andrettis want to find their way into NASCAR. And this would be if they somehow, Dan, there's a common thread there. Is it a sponsor?
Well, they did announce some sponsorship for the Spire cars. Gainbridge, which is Andretti's sponsor on one of the IndyCar teams. It's Colton Herta's sponsor this year. And it's been a long time Andretti Autosport sponsor on the IndyCar side. It's on both Spire cars. I mean, not at the same time. I think there's so many on the 7 and so many races on the 77. But that coinciding with Marco in the truck had people talking, well, maybe here's a spot if Andretti's want to get in. Maybe you got to find an existing charter to partner with. Boy, this might be a pretty good company. I haven't heard nothing about that. It's just everybody putting 2 and 2 together and kind of filling in the coloring book thing with going on sponsorship-wise and with Andretti in the truck.
I don't know much about the Spire folks. I do know that to attract the best talent to your organization, it takes more than money. Because if you'll remember, before Haas became Stewart-Haas, he had all the money in the world and couldn't attract any of the top people over there. A few, but not enough to make a winning effort until he brought Tony Stewart on board, and having Stewart's name there attracted some of the top talent in all of NASCAR. And I'm just wondering if the Andretti name will do the same. They got plenty of money, but what about, is Andretti a good enough name to attract some of the top talent in all of racing?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, Andretti wants to move forward a Formula One team too, and if you're able to do something like that, I mean, that's the pinnacle of motorsports. And in order to pull off one of those things, you're going to have sponsorship money to do it.
And it's not what's keeping Andretti from getting into F1 right now is they don't want him in. They don't want to let him in. I mean, Andretti in F1, you have to be let in. It's a weird process. They get in. They have to all agree to have you there, and that hasn't happened right now. They're all pretty much kind of afraid of Andretti getting in there for some reason. So I think the resources that they have there is a lot, and it would be a big step up should he be partnering with a team, something like Spire or something like that.
Yeah, and why not? Because it's pretty much a rent-a-ride anyway. So there's a ride waiting for Marco Andretti if they want to buy into Spire. Dan, the new short track package is on its way. Give us what it's replacing and how it's going to change us.
It sounds like the drivers kind of got together and come up with something like this. That they want to do is they want to fix the racing on the short tracks, because right now if you're out in clean air, the car in the lead seems to have a huge advantage air-wise. You're getting more downforce when you're out in clean air, and when you're in traffic, you lose that, and you have problems passing and keeping up. Well, apparently the splitter that they're going to try it's called a lift splitter. It apparently causes lift when you're out front, and it gives more downforce when you're behind. Kind of the opposite of what's going on now. I'm not sure how it does that. I wish Ed was around to help explain it. Probably a better idea of that, but it's something that if it does that, it'd be great. I mean, now, does it punish the lead car? Maybe a little bit. But it would help the racing overall. And the drivers apparently are behind it and kind of gotten into this deal. So we'll see what happens with the test after New Hampshire. Maybe they'll see it later this year. Maybe like at Phoenix, if not next year for sure.
Kind of an interesting theory, right? You want to pass and go forward, but when you get up front, it actually lifts the nose up. And I cannot imagine a situation where you're not going to want to lead. That really doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, does it?
Indy cars had something similar to that a couple years ago at Indianapolis at the 500. Remember the car out front seemed to be like a sitting duck, and they were passes like crazy, and you had to time it right at the end of it. They had some great racing. I don't know if it's something similar to that. I'm not sure the whole specifics of it because I didn't really get into it that much. But if it does what it says it's supposed to do and it fixes it, that'd be great.
We're glad you're listening. Brian and Dan are at the Trans Am Speed Tour weekend up at Road America. We're going to sneak away for a break, and we'll be back with some results.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
It's the social event of the summer as the WeatherTech International Challenge with Brian Redmond returns to Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, July 13th through the 16th. It's the largest vintage racing event in America, featuring over 400 vintage and historic race cars. This event will highlight the Kastner Cup, featuring Triumph sports cars, and the popular Concours d'Elegance on Friday and Saturday along the streets of Elkhart Lake. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Camping and family fun at Road America all weekend. Visit roadamerica.com today.
The summer heat is on, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Join us every Sunday at noon when we replay some of the primest cuts in Packers history.
They were the two best quarterbacks of their generation and two of the best of all time. Last year, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady squared off one final time.
Rodgers in a gun with a set back to his left. He sets, he fires on the slam. Lazard, touchdown!
Packers Prime, Sundays at noon on Milwaukee's new home for the Green Bay Packers. 97.3 The Game.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Busy 4th of July week of racing across the area will start Tuesday up in Eagle River, Wisconsin. The limited late models are up there. Jason Zadroik got the win, and in a big stock car special up there, Dave Blackbird took home the $1,000 top prize. Also Tuesday night in Granite City, Illinois, the Tri-City Speedway for the UMP Summer Nationals, Mike Harrison finally got his first late model win. Mike Harrison's been a modified guy for years, and he was pretty excited.
Took till July?
What's that?
Took till July to get it?
Yeah, I know. It's surprising, but he put it together and got his first late model win, and in a big Summer Nationals event also. In the UMP Modifieds, it was Tyler Nicely. Thursday up in Spring Valley, Minnesota, the Deer Creek Speedway, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series annual Go for 50, night number 1, a preliminary feature, 5,000 win. Devin Moran got the win. In the USRA Modifieds, it was Jim Chisholm. Macon, Illinois on Thursday, the UMP Summer Nationals, the Herald and Review 100. 100 laps around a fifth mile. That puts jet fighters in the gymnasium in a whole new terms if you see that. Ryan Unsticker got the win. In the UMP Modifieds, it was Mike McKinney. Friday night up at Chilton, the Gravity Park Speedway in the Modifieds, Joel Siegert got the win up there. Good friend of ours. I used to hang around with their teammate when Gordy used to race late models back in the day. Grand Nationals went to Mark Bailey, and the stock cars was Brady Polson. Seymour, the Outagamie County Speedway in the Modifieds, it was Mike Mullen. The stock cars was Tyler Wilson. Over at Red Cedar Speedway in Menominee, in the Modifieds, it was Dave Kane. The USRA Limited Lates was Charlie Olson. Jim Falls, Wisconsin, the Eagle Valley Speedway in the Wissota Modifieds, it was Jake Smith. The USRA Limiteds was Dylan Crom-Schrader. Night number 2 at Deer Creek for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, another 5,000 to win preliminary feature. Chris Smokey Madden picked up the win. The USRA Mods, it was Lucas Schott. Macon, Illinois on Friday night, the USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Cars was there. Mitchell Moles got the win. And in Ramseyville, New York, the All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprint Cars, Zeb Wise got the win. Last night at Plymouth in the MSA 360s, Ben Schmidt continued his domination of that up there. I think that might be 4 in a row for him now. He is on a serious roll. In the Grand Nationals was Will Source. Francis Crick, the 141 Speedway. Grand Nationals were the headliners last night. It was the Terry Van Roy Memorial.
Oh, boy.
36 Grand Nationals showed up for that race, and Dan Schumacher got the win in that one. IMCA Modifieds went to Brian Crasper, and the stock cars was Nick Strobe. Up at Shawano in the late models, Joel Bennett got the win. Modifieds went to Johnny Whitman, and the stock cars was Vern Stedgy. Sturgeon Bay raced up at the Thunder Hill Raceway, and the Modifieds was Tyler DeBush, and the stock cars was Dan Sell. New Richmond, Wisconsin at the Cedar Lake Speedway in the late models, Nick Panitsky got the win. That was a stout field of cars, too, so that's a top-notch win for him, a asphalt guy gone dirt racing. The Modifieds went to Adam Hensel, and the USRA Limiteds went to Justin Sass. Ashland, Wisconsin, the ABC Raceway in the Wissota Modifieds, Pat Cook. Down at Wilmot last night, the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series was there. From all the pictures I've seen, that place was absolutely corked full of people. Really good to see. And Carson Macedo picked up the win. Good to see him win after his nasty wreck at Knoxville a couple of weeks ago. And the IRA Wingless Sprints went to Clayton Rossman. Hartford, Ohio, the Sharon Speedway for the All-Star Circuit of Champions, Tyler Courtney got the win. Night number 2 at Macon for the AMSOIL USAC National Sprint Cars, Brady Bacon picked up the win there. Down at Fairbury last night, Frankie Heckenass Jr. got the win in the UMP late models. Highland, Illinois for the UMP Summer Nationals, 10,000 to win, Ashton Winger. And finally, the biggest prize of the weekend on the dirt was in Spring Valley, Minnesota. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Go for 50, $50,000 to win that race. And Bobby Pierce got the win over Hudson O'Neill by .002 seconds.
It was really close. In fact, if you look at some of the photos at the finish, it looked like O'Neill might have got him, but it depends where the transponder.
Yeah, all about where the transponder line was buried in the dirt, because there's no line to look at. So, and a lot of people thought it was Hudson O'Neill got the win, but the transponders don't lie. And Bobby Pierce took home the big $50,000 prize. That is everything we have for this week on the dirt.
And thanks to Paul Reichert for the results on the world of asphalt racing around the state of Wisconsin and in the neighborhood. Starting Thursday at Wisconsin International Raceway, Grant Griesbach won his first feature of the year up there, where he ended up second in the points a year ago.
Good way to go to the Nationals, eh?
And he's all charged up. He'll be heading to Slinger on Tuesday for the Nationals. In the late models, it was T.J. Sporowski. Friday night at Golden Sands, the UMA late models, Kendrick Cryer was your winner. And Saturday, last night at Dells Raceway Park, Mike Litchfield finally back in victory lane again after dominating the first portion of the season. He came back and won for the first time in a couple of weeks in the Pro Lates at Jefferson. Carter Stark, that's his first time in victory lane. This kid is going to have a future, I'll tell you right now. That 94 car, I guess, had a problem, huh, Dan?
Yeah, make a flat tire and then put him back a bit. But good for Carter Stark. I've seen him come up through the ranks from like Bandoleros into the dash cars and on to the late model. And yeah, the kid's got it.
And at Marshfield, the UMA Super Late Models ran, and Dylan Mackesy was your winner. Last week at the Slinger Super Speedway, it was the first Super Late Model win of the year for Jacob Nottestad. Boy, you know, these guys got their a little wind in their sails heading into the Nationals this week. And the Pro Late Models, Ryan Gutnecht won the $1,000 bounty that was out there for Jesse Bernhagen, and Bernhagen did his best, but kind of ended up in traffic a little bit, ended up fourth, but a nice run for Ryan Gutnecht, and when it was pretty classy. When the thing was over, Bernhagen gets out and says what a great driver Ryan Gutnecht is and that he deserved it. I like that kind of thing. That's pretty cool stuff. Slinger Speedway is this is the premier time of year for us. The prelude to the Nationals is tonight. It's headlined by the Midwest Truck Series, who always put a great race on, and the 602 late models are going to be there also. So those two series, they don't race there very often. It's the only time this year for the trucks. And Dan, I don't think the 602s are back, are they? Or did I
I think this might be the only time for them, and you have a pretty good field of cars and trucks in both series, and the trucks bring a good thing here. I think Brad's going to run tonight with his truck, and the 602 cars. You got to see Adam Peshek's car when you see that. You remember Al Schill's Super Late Model? Looks exactly like it.
Yeah, an old one. Matter of fact, it is the same car, but they took it and turned it into, from a Super Late Model. It's a Lofi car is what it is. They turned it into a pro. I mean, excuse me, one of those 602 late models, so it's pretty cool. Now, tomorrow is practice day at Slinger Speedway. Gates open at 10 in the morning, and it's free admission if you'd like to come out and watch practice all day. The qualifying drawing will be at 5:30, and that is going to be televised, Dan, I believe, isn't it?
I think Racing America will have some coverage of that tomorrow, as long as the pit party afterward. The qualifying draw, I think, is going to be on as well, and then heading into Tuesday night.
And, of course, Tuesday night, the 44th Annual Slinger Nationals, biggest show of the year at Slinger Speedway. 2 years ago, it was named the top short track event in the country. We'll be back. We've got a special guest for you.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
You want speed? Then get your tickets now for the Trans Am Speed Tour, July 7th through the 9th at Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake. This race weekend is presented by Pirelli, and the Trans Am grids are populated by Mustangs, Camaros, and Challenger. On Saturday, there'll be a license plate event and a Henry Cars and Coffee Show. Bring the entire family, as kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult admission, and make it an affordable weekend by camping. A great way to round out your holiday week. All this at Road America, your national park of speed.
Start your engine!
The Quaker State 400.
Blaney edges down to the bottom. He gets right to the bumper of the leader. Martin Truex Jr. disposes of Tyler Reddick. Zigzags to the bottom spot with Christopher Bell pulling in. Here comes Chase Elliott. The number 9 going to lead the field once again off 4.
The crowd is going crazy at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chase Elliott won the Quaker State 400.
The Quaker State 400. Sunday, July 9th at 5 p.m.
on the Big 920 and your iHeart Radio app.
And welcome back to the final segment of LTN. Glad you could join us. We have as a special guest, or do we? Yes, he is on hold. All right, great. He not only talks fast, he drove fast. He's one of the greatest short track racers that ever lived, and legendary Gary Hot Shoe Ballou joins us right now. Gary, you're actually up in Wisconsin right now, huh?
Yeah, we're right off of 55. We're sitting in the truck trying to go to my buddy's house, Tim Bell's. He lives on a lake with his pontoon boat a little bit today. A little bit of relaxation. Yeah, and then tomorrow we got to head towards Slinger and get set up over there. So we'll be there Tuesday.
Now you're going to be at Slinger Tuesday night to sign copies of your book, and you've even got your. In fact, I guess it's the same car you drove back in the day, right?
It's not. It's a duplicate, but it's real close. I mean, we made it as close as we can make it. Everybody looks at it, really likes it. So I guess we did a pretty good job.
I've been announcing at Slinger for such a long time. I actually remember the one and only time you ever raced at Slinger Speedway, and here you're coming back to at least to watch and sign autographs.
Right. Well, I had one twice. I went there with my own car with a V6. My Chevrolet was sponsoring us with V6, and we had to miss him. We run about 15 to 20 laps and it started missing. Everywhere we went set track records. And finally we figured out there was a pinhole in the pickup line in the fuel tank, the fuel cell.
Oh, geez. Well, Gary, you've had such a spectacular career winning races, but it isn't all spectacular. You spent, the total of 10 years in jail for dealing drugs?
For dealing marijuana, yeah. Smuggling marijuana. It wasn't a deal. It wasn't like dealing it. We were smuggling it for the Colombians.
Okay.
The islands, for the Bahama Islands, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
middleman. I was a grunt.
It's an expensive way to make a living in this racing business, and I guess you use that to supplement your income.
Well, it just costs so much to race, as far as equipment and people, and I've always surrounded myself with the best people I could. I mean, I've never won a race for myself, but I've had a lot of good people work for me and race for me and believe in me and go on to win races, you know.
I remember seeing you race against Trickle one time at New Smyrna.
Oh, yeah. Trickle was one of the best racers I've ever raced against.
And I think he had as many good things to say about you.
Yeah, a lot of good people, man. I've raced with some of the best in ever. A.J. Foy, Bobby Allison, Donnie Allison, Red Farmer, I mean, on and on and on. Bobby Brack, I mean, I can just name them and name them and name them and name them, you know. And I'm just fortunate enough to be able to race against all those people.
And you wrote a book about your life, which includes the good news and the bad news, and how you made it to the ripe old age you are now.
Yes, sir. It's a book. Everybody it gets it comes back. Oh my God, that is so good. We wish it was 300 pages longer. And Bones, wrote the book with me, and it's actually me talking, taping the words itself, but he had categorized it just right. It calls you back, it calls you back, it calls you back. You don't want to lay it down.
Yeah, that's funny. Now, you're going to have copies of the book for sale at Slinger Speedway Tuesday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'll autograph them all. When I do a book signing like this, we bring a show car, which we'll bring the 112 car. The 112 car like we raced at the Derby, don't want a Derby with All-American 400, Walk Around 300, so forth. Won a ton of races with track records all over the country. So we made a duplicate of that.
Career.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Everybody's seen it so far loves it.
It's pretty neat that you're able to put a career like you had into a book form, because it has a few chapters that many other people don't ever have that they talk about in their life story. And Gary, you're a survivor. You're a life survivor. You made it, and you're still with us. And we're able to have you at Slinger on Tuesday. We're pretty excited about it.
I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. Last time I run there, I think we ran second or the third. I don't remember. But I was in the 5 car, the Waters's car. And he always had a fast hot rod, the Victor Ford car, yep. It was a rocket ship. It's just, I got into the wall early in practice, but another car bumped the right rear end of the thing and bent the tube in it, and we had to race it that way. My train of thought was that if we hadn't done that, we had a pretty good chance of winning the race, you know?
Oh, yeah. How much is the book?
The book's $30. And if you can't buy the book, if you're not at the racetrack, you go to GaryBlue.com or to Shopify and my name. And get it either way. Yeah.
Look it up.
And we ship it right to you. And anything that I ship, I sign before it goes out.
There you go. Well, Mr. Hot Shoe, it certainly has been an honor having you on the program today. Sorry we couldn't have spent more time with you. Maybe we'll do that in the future. That would be fun.
Well, maybe we can do something on Tuesday. You know, never know. Get in there someplace. You're the announcer, so you're the guy I need to talk to at the racetrack for sure.
We'll be looking forward to meeting you. Gary Ballou, our guest, one of the legendary all-time racers on short track racing in the US of A. We'll talk to you Tuesday, Gary. And thanks to everybody for tuning into the program. My goodness, this show has seemed to have kind of whipped right through, didn't it? Is that my imagination, or did we just go like hell?
No, we have a lot going on.
Yeah, the busy day. If you're not, you could head up to the Speed Tour weekend at the Trans Am Speed Tour weekend at Road America. Come to Slinger Speedway tonight for a prelude to the Nationals. And, of course, don't forget, we'll see many of you Tuesday night for the 44th Annual Slinger Nationals. Check out SlingerSuperspeedway.com for tickets. Until then, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losi. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you taking a little time out of your Sunday morning and joining us, and we'll see you over the next couple of days.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.